we got back to the run from the runway, and I was at my station cleaning up, and I see this note, and it's right on top of my brushes, and it was like, boo-hoo, bitch, you're next to go. And I was like, what? Oh, yes. And so it flipped me because I was like, wait, what?
Quick thank you to those who left comments on my last video. I thought it'd be cute for the next couple of months to highlight some of my favorite comments that you guys give me, just to sort of show my appreciation back. Funny ones are my personal favorite, but supportive comments are always welcome too. And stay tuned for a monthly update at the end of the video.
That was fighting for gay rights, and people were killed.
Nobody was killed at Stonewall.
Nobody was killed.
A couple months ago, I did a YouTube short about drag race mysteries that keep me up at night. It ended up doing pretty well, with a bunch of you commenting additional what ifs that has always left you wondering too. So in a more fun discussion type of video, I decided to go over some of them. Plus, if we can get this video to 5K likes, I'll release a 40-minute fully researched deep dive on a drag race queen by the end of this month. So let's try to make it happen. But before we start, lately I've been putting more attention into my routine, especially when it comes to food, and Factor has been something that's made it a lot easier to stick with. They deliver fresh, never frozen, chef-crafted meals straight to your door, and it's been really helpful for days when I want something balanced without having to plan, cook, or clean. It fits into my day in a way that feels natural, which is honestly what I care about the most when I'm trying to stay consistent. When my Factor box arrives, everything's already ready to go. I'll heat up a meal, and 2 minutes later, I'm eating an actual satisfying meal instead of overthinking what I should eat or putting it off entirely. Most of the meals have 30 grams or more of protein, which has been great on days that I'm more active or after workout. And I like that the meals feel filling without feeling heavy. There's also a ton of variety, high protein options, seafood, salad, so it doesn't feel repetitive week after week. What I've noticed is that having food already handled makes it easier to keep momentum with the rest of my routine. It takes one decision off my plate and helps me stay focused on the things that I actually want to prioritize. If you want to try Factor, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code GreenGayFB50 to get 50% off your first Factor box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. Again, that's code GreenGayFB50 at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 year. You can also scan the QR code on the screen to get started. Number 1. If Willem had actually been cast by production in All Stars 2. The fan vote for All Stars 2 had Willem within the top 3 queens most wanted to return. Despite this, she was never cast, even though she was also cast for All Stars 1, and shortlisted last minute because Jaren McCary, aka Fifi O'Hara, was not able to make the final cast due to not passing her background check. So then, if Willem had competed on All Stars 2, it would have possibly meant that her friendship with World of Wonder wouldn't have been burned down. Maybe she would have been softer with them with the impending drama that would happen a year later with Matthew Anderson's firing. Or maybe the drama within All Stars 2 would have been heightened, given that Willem proved on season 4 to be a great pot stirrer in the competition. Number 2, was Trinity the Tuck really She-Devil by night? This whole saga has followed Trinity around for years. Even now in season 17, Lexi Love paid reference to it while making a joke about Sam Starr, who's Trinity's drag daughter. It's also something that Trinity herself isn't shy to laugh at too, with her choosing to play a She-Devil for Snatch Game on All Star 7, and has even name dropped it on her review series on her YouTube channel. If you don't know the details of this whole drama, I'm sure you can find it online. But it's one of those things that will continue to be brought up every now and then. And while Trinity has denied it was her, there's still heavy speculation on whether or not she was telling the truth. Number 3, the alleged reunion for All Star 7, the World of Wonder silenced with a cease and desist. The first All Winners was widely pinned as one of the highest calibers of drag that we had gotten to see, which is no surprise given the cast. Unfortunately, as it was airing, some of the contestants took to their online platforms to call out things that they felt was unfair from production, most of them implying that there was some favoritism going on. This would end up climaxing when Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange decided to produce an unofficial reunion of All Star 7, where the queens could spill all the tea they had, especially in regards to production. Subsequently, while they did get to film the reunion episode, it was never made public because World of Wonder ended up contacting them to shut it down. Part of me wishes that Bob and Monet had never advertised the fact that they would do it, and instead just did it to randomly drop it after the season aired. That way, even if World of Wonder had them take it down, it would have been too late as fans would have already downloaded copies of it. Regardless, I do have hope that in, let's say, 10 years from now, it somehow leaks online. Number 4, who wrote the note to Mayhem Miller before her elimination? A really interesting storyline happened on season 10 that never made the final edit, but Mayhem actually spoke about it shortly after her elimination aired. Apparently, after her lip sync against Yua Hamasaki, someone slipped a note in her station that said, "You're next," implying that she'd be the next queen to be eliminated. Even though she did go around asking queens who it was, she never was able to find out, and to this day, we never got an answer.
We get back to the workroom, like cleaning up, like cameras are off and everything, and Mayhem goes, "Girl, you see this?" And what did the note say, Mayhem?
Okay, so see, I'm really upset about this because it didn't make camera, it didn't air, it didn't make the show, and I was hoping that it would because it was so shady and it was so dramatic, and I was like, okay, what the is going on?
What was it?
We got back to from the runway, and I was at my station cleaning up, and I see this note, and it's right on top of my brushes, and it was like, "Boo-hoo, bitch, you're next to go." And I was like, what? Oh, yes. And so it flipped me because I was like, wait, what? And so I'm looking around the workroom and I'm like, I don't think anyone would write this to me. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought I was cool with everyone. So I was like, I'm just going to call some girls one by one over to look at it. So I called Eureka over and she would kind of act funny about it. She was like, "Oh my God, girl." And I'm like, and so I'm like, so then I called Vixen over and I'm like, "Vixen, look at this." And she's like, "What the f- is that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And so like one by one, I would just like ask girls to come over. I'm like, "Hey, can you come over really quick?" And then it was just weird. I was just like, it just felt like a setup and someone was trying to fucking get me.
Oh, girl, the whole next day, it was like, I was trying to figure out who left this note on Mayhem Station. And like this like shady.
And you never got to the bottom of it.
No.
You know, some is lying their ass off. Some is lying. You know, some bitch.
Or who went home before? Can you imagine Dusty did it? Because Dusty was the one who went home.
I could not imagine Dusty.
Dusty wouldn't do that.
Trying to figure out who wrote "Boo-hoo, bitch" and everything else. This feels like.
But which queen from the season 10 cast do you think would be messy enough to do it? Let me know in the comments. Number 5, how Mimi on First was number 3rd in the fan vote for All Stars 1 casting. As much as it's become a huge meme with Raven saying, quote, "Mimi was number 3rd in the voting," when you really think about it, it is sort of baffling. I mean, when the fan vote for All Stars 1 happened, season 4 was in the middle of airing. To top it off, Mimi didn't have a good showcase on season 3, and even lost gigs once her episodes aired because people did not like what they saw. So for her to be able to reach 3rd place in a popularity vote seems off. Was it that the fans simply wanted her there for the chaos? Did they actually want to see a redemption from her? Or did Mimi call up every single person she knew to put in their votes? We may never know. Number 6, the real reason why RuPaul and Matthew Anderson had a falling out that led to them never working together after 20 years of friendship. We have some information, but never a concise story about it. I'm actually currently working on a video about Matthew Anderson and Zolly. So if you happen to be someone with any info about their beginning days in the 90s, etc., please let me know. Number 7, if Valentina had known the words to Greedy. Some say that Nina would have still beat her in the lip sync, while others say that she would have made it all the way to the finale. This whole situation could be talked about for hours because RuPaul straight up said to her, quote, "I thought you had the stuff to go all the way," which is one of the most cutting things you could possibly say to a contestant, especially while they're getting told to sashay away. I mean, it's essentially a nice way of saying, quote, "You disappointed me big time." time. If Valentina had made it to the final four, well, maybe she wouldn't have won. She still would have had a career going in a completely separate direction than it ended up going, especially with her return to All-Stars no longer having to be about proving herself as a performer. But she did get to host Drag Race Mexico for a season, so things didn't turn out too bad for her. Number 8, the original edit of season 12. As we know, Sherry Pie was projected to get a very positive edit that would have placed her as the main rival of Gigi Good, while Gigi was pinned to be the villain. Quite honestly, the thought of Sherry getting a favorable edit while Gigi could have potentially been a villain would have changed a lot of the dynamics that the fans would end up having. Fortunately, the editing out of Sherry Pie still provided us with good set of themes focusing on the rest of the cast. Yet there will always be that wonder, and it's that what was gonna be that original edit for the season. It's something really that only the finalists of season 12 will ever truly know, at least to a degree since they actually lived through most of it. Number 9, what lipstick did BB choose? I know what you're thinking, and it's that the biggest speculation around who BB chose to eliminate was actually Trixie Mattel, since she was good friends with Shangela, and when it came to Kennedy Davenport, even though she had the least impressive track record, Kennedy had actually played a big part in choreographing their performance that got them the win for the episode. So it's highly possible that she ended up choosing Trixie's lipstick, and it would have been a shocking elimination. And maybe she knew better than to not admit to it on national television, since Trixie's fans are known to be super rabid. Number 10, the real edit of the Swish Swish lip sync on All-Star 7, particularly the Nicki Minaj verse that was edited out of the final cut. It still to this day makes no sense that they'd edit it out. Even if Monet absolutely dragged Jinx through the mud by the ponytail and all the way back to Seattle, it still would have made sense for Jinx to win, since right after, Rue says that she's taking what each queen did throughout the entirety of the competition into consideration. Number 11, why don't the pit crew members have shoes? On Race Chaser, a popular podcast hosted by Willem in Alaska, the topic of pit crew members has been brought up, as oftentimes they have to undergo the raw, unnatural conditions of the workroom in just their underwear, their muscular bodies, and most notably, their feet having to touch the cold floor of the workroom and main stage. Some say that pit crew members wouldn't be able to walk straight if they were given shoes, while others have urged that it's the least that they should be provided, unless of course there's someone out there that actively seeks out what their feet look like. Number 12, the Shangela and Mimi on First fight footage that resulted in full blows. Alexis Mateo has said that it was a type of event that World of Wonder never wanted to see happen again, leading to a 2-week break in the season. The details of it have sort of varied depending on which season 3 queen talks about it, but allegedly, after Shangela got mad at what Mimi was saying in Untucked, it led to a fight that resulted in some of them getting injured, including Mimi, who had to change her wig. If this had happened today, it for sure would have resulted in someone getting disqualified for physical violence. Number 13, if All-Stars 1 hadn't been done in teams. The very first All-Stars from RuPaul's Drag Race was ruined the moment we found out that not only would we just be getting 6 episodes, but out of the 12 queens competing, they'd have to be in pairs, with 2 queens going home every week. It damaged the season like crazy, to the point where some fans don't even consider it the true first All-Star season. Nevertheless, the cast in itself was filled with star power. Each queen placed in their original season either as a runner-up, a Miss Congeniality, with the only wildcards being Tammy Brown and Mimi on First, presumably replacing Jeremy Carey and Willam. Had this season been done with normal eliminations, it goes without saying that the placements would have been completely different. Along with that, the lip syncs would have been even more engaging, since each queen would have been fighting for their own spot in the competition. Although, if this had happened, then All-Stars 1 could have been very well received, meaning that instead of taking 4 years for us to get All-Stars 2, we would have had the series become a yearly thing much sooner. And maybe the format twist of picking lipsticks would have never come to fruition, as it was a direct result of wanting to rebrand the All-Stars franchise after their terribly received first edition. Number 14, if Adore and Bianca had both been crowned in the finale of season 6. When they filmed the alternate crownings of Bianca, Adore, and Courtney, they also filmed a tie between Bianca and Adore, mostly because Bianca had a stellar showing in the competition with strong fan support, but still by a landslide, Adore was the fan favorite. So I guess production wanted to have the option of doing a double crowning, but ultimately decided not to. Now, if this had happened, especially so early on in the franchise and on a main season, it would have really shifted the way that people viewed and valued the crown. Obviously, this ended up happening in All-Stars 4 between Trinity and Monet, and while yes, it was shocking, given that it was in the All-Stars franchise and both these queens had established brands, it was much easier to stomach. But if season 6 had crowned Bianca Nador, I genuinely think that it would have damaged Bianca's reign in itself. Number 15. If Asia O'Hara's butterfly stunt actually worked. The disaster of the second ever lip sync for the crown resulted in Asia revealing a bunch of dead butterflies, something that infamously went down in the history of the franchise as one of the most disastrous mistakes ever. Yet, what if it had actually worked? Bob the Drag Queen has said on his podcast Sibling Rivalry that even if the butterflies had all successfully been released, then most of the audience wouldn't have been able to visually see them, unless she was going to be releasing hundreds at once. What's more is that a more intriguing question is how she was planning on getting them all back into the containers, even if it did go smoothly. If this had been the case, then maybe Cameron wouldn't have body slammed a bunch of them to death. Number 16. If Nina Bonina Brown had been Blac Chyna. Laugh all you want, but Nina's trajectory of getting in her head truly begins with this challenge, knowing that she actively spoke to Alexis Michelle about getting assigned this role. Subsequently, her not getting it changed everything moving forward. I mean, the role for Blac Chyna was clearly one that, if done right, would guarantee you a spot in the top 3. And in Shay's case, the win of the whole challenge. So if we assume that Nina would have slayed it, then she would have backed her second win in the season, subsequently easing her nerves moving forward, and who knows how things would have played out from there. Now, as we end this quick little fun video, I'll leave you with 3 mysteries that you can answer below with your own theories. Number 1 is, where did Jasmine Masters get that loaf of bread? Number 2 is, was there any gay contestants before Joey J? And number 3 is, did Utica actually smoke weed or not prior to filming season 13? Let me know in the comments. And before I go, quick thanks again to Factor for sponsoring today's video. If you missed it earlier, you can head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code GreenGayFB50 to get 50% off your first Factor box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. All the details are linked below. I want to take a moment to thank my patrons. In the Elite Pink Squad, we have Matthew Burns, Gay Uncle, Sari Tish, Las Potitas, Cool Gal Nan, Jet Sam Adams, and Natasha De Leon. And in the Gay Squad, we have Lone Resident, Christine Gregory. And in the Green Squad, we have Cayman Rider Furry, Edgar Allan Pup, The Only Sean, IJS, Not a Punch, But a Keek, Jack Beck, Galeria Gomez, Sarah G, Scarlet Rose, Boiled Peanut, Not an Omelette, But an Egg, Max Whale, Dea, Dea, and Niall O'Hearn. If you'd like to see your name on the screen, you can support me on Patreon. The link will be in the description. I'll see you guys next time.